What is up, bros? Josh here, and today's video is all about the new Tier 7 Premium Russian Cruiser, the Lazo, and is it worth it? In this video, we'll go over several things, compare it to the ships at its tier, as well as other premium ships, talk about how to get the ship, show you a captain build, as well as some gameplay. In the end, is it worth it is going to be completely up to you, but I hope this review kind of breaks it down and makes it an easier choice on whether this ship will work for you or not. Now let's address the elephant in the room and talk about how you can get this ship yourself. Now this is part of the Russian Battleship event, the Honor and the Glory event. This is the second time we've seen a ship be attached to an event like this. The one before it was the Irian, the Tier 8 Pan-Asian Cruiser, which we found was available through that event and that event only. Now the Lazo isn't available in the premium store right now. It may be in the future, so time sensitive at least. I will not be discussing if it's worth it for a set dollar amount, just because it isn't available at this time. In the future, it may be available. The Irian still wasn't sold in the premium store. I don't think is available currently right now. So through this, we will only talk about the availability that this ship currently has, which is only in the armory. So this thing is attached to the Russian Battleship event, and it is something that you will have to purchase it through 1,500 of the new currency, which is allowance tokens that you will get throughout playing this event. Now, I'll have to give credit to Al Gray. He came up with this phrase, and this is a new currency called Eventium. Now, the joke is that it's part of the event, and you can only get that currency throughout this. So, upside about this ship, though, is you can actually get it for free by just going through and playing this event. However, even though you will get it for free, it will take you a long time. This event is going to be 2 updates long, so it will take you basically the entire time of playing consistently almost every day to get enough of the currency to then have enough allowance tokens to then, of course, buy the ship in the end. So another way you can speed this up is by actually picking up some of the containers, which is one of the things that we will talk about, the worth it or not. Each one of these containers will have 75 of the tokens that will help you get towards the actual 1,500 that you need in the end. So obviously you need to buy 20 of these containers if you want to buy this day one and not worry about playing it. That will put you at, if you look up, the only available one is they have 7 and 25. 2,500 doubloons obviously is pretty expensive. USD, it's $100. So obviously that's a little crazy. Is this ship worth $100? Of course not. But this is something that you can then make up. If you want to pick these up, we did do a video opening all these up. You can kind of see how many things we got. We were able to pick up a bunch of things on this account. It picked up the permanent camos, the Lazo itself. So you can get that pretty quick. Obviously, a tier 7 ship, I don't think any ship in this game is worth $100, but I just want to talk about that. You could get that day one if you wanted to. However, if you continuously play during this event, you will unlock a good amount of these allowance tokens by just playing. Now, remember, you can switch back and forth between the Honor and the Glory teams to kind of min-max this. I would probably recommend going 3 days with Honor, 3 days with Glory, 3 days with Honor, back and forth, because it seems like with how the bonuses will work, it'll then give the team the modifier, then balancing up. You'll get more points throughout if you're bouncing back and forth between those teams. So one of the things I kind of want to talk about is this ship going to be worth it if you miss a couple days and pick up something, maybe like 4 of these to kind of close it? I really think it is. The tier 7 ship itself is extremely strong, which we'll dive into the stats in a little bit. But obviously, day one, I wouldn't spend the money to just get it. You'll eventually get this ship for free, and I believe if you play consistently. However, I know everyone can't play warships every day for 2 months to then get the ship. So in the end, if you want to maybe throw down 4,500 to pick up 4 of these to get then 300 more, it'll take out a 1/5 of that ship. You can then relax a little bit and not have to then spam some games just to catch up and get enough of those resources. So first of all, it isn't available for straight up money unless you buy doubloons. Second of all, you can get this ship for free. You will just have to play consistently. So there is some things to kind of weigh out. However, let's jump into the ship itself for the hit points. Now, it's a tier 7, so the things you want to compare it to the most is the Shores, the tier 7 Russian Cruiser. However, this thing compares way more to the Chappie, the tier 8 cruiser, and I would say even it's basically an A-haul Chappie. So you have kind of the damage output of a tier 8 ship in a tier 7 package, and it felt good playing this ship. It was extremely strong, and if you've ever played the Russian cruisers, you know that they have a pretty decent reload. They are extremely accurate, good fire chance, and on top of that, they're just pretty strong. Now, one of the things that this doesn't have radar like the Chappie does. Again, it's the A-hull, so you wouldn't have radar anyways. But the stats itself, 36,300. Even if you compare that to the Shores, it's an even beefier boy than the Tier 7 itself. So you have a decent health pool. Now, obviously, Russian line not known for being extremely tanky. The armor layout is nothing that's tanky at all, so it's not like you're going to be bowing, doing any of that, but you will be using the guns, and that is your main weapon. The guns are going to be extremely good. 17.3 kilometers at Tier 7 is fantastic, and not only is those guns in that range at Tier 7 really good, Tier 7, in my opinion, is one of the best tiers in this game, not only for map rotation, but as well as matchmaking. So you will spend a lot of time getting top tiered in this, and even if you are bottom tiered, which is always the biggest question, how does this ship do against bottom tiering? The replay we will show is us being top tiered, which I think is pretty regular at being Tier 7. Even at bottom tier, I think the Russian cruisers do extremely well because they have range, they have a high fire chance, and they have a high reload, or a very low reload. They're very, very quick on their rate of fire. So even at bottom tier, we played a couple games too, and it did extremely well. The game I want to show is just, it happens to be a top tier game. Main battery though, 9-second reload. Again, 17.3 kilometers is the base, and then we have a base 11-second reload. So first of all, let's dive into the captain really quick, and I'll show you what I'm actually running. Well, I guess it's a 9-second. I am running Demo Expert, but I'm running Priority Target, Adrenaline Rush, and then we're running Demo Expert, Concealment, and then Inertia Fuse. So the reason you want Inertia Fuse on this captain is because it is that 152. You will definitely want it. Now, I know a lot of people said, I don't have a 19-point captain. What should I run for the build? Basically, a lot of this wasn't really even used. BFT I just picked up to shoot down a couple more planes. Extra Marksmanship is just a quality of life. So the base of this build is just a 14-point captain. Now, I went Demo Expert instead of Superintendent. I just feel like you're not going to need most of these, so I feel like the extra 2% is quite nice. And then if you rock the flags, you can actually get up to 13% on the fire chance, which we didn't end up using. I just want to show kind of the base ship. So this is the build I am running. If you have a 14-point captain for a Tier 7 premium ship, remember you can rotate any captain from the Russian line into this, so getting a high-level captain into a premium ship isn't that crazy. This is a fantastic trainer too, and it's a really good trainer to start training spotting planes. If you have never, or you wanted to practice with using the spotting plane, this is a good ship. This is a good line in general, the Russian cruisers, to start training that. So that's the build I'm running. So mainly I have Inertia Fuse and I have Concealment Expert as well as Demo. So the base would actually be 9%, so I apologize about that, but 11% with Demo Expert. But the velocity right there of the shells, 950 seconds, very, very quick. And then the maximum dispersion, 142 meters. It feels like it's 0 when you're playing this, and you'll see in the replay. Torpedoes are Russian torpedoes, so 4 kilometers, well, Russian cruiser torpedoes. 4 kilometers, these are basically a last-ditch effort, and usually if you're within 4 kilometers, they're going to hit 65 knots pretty quick. AA was all right on this ship. You're not going to be getting clear skies. You will be still getting dropped on, so you have to be careful. But most Russian cruisers will be able to defend themselves a little bit. Again, we only have BFT, so we aren't really spec'd into AA that much. But you will be able to knock a couple out of the air, but you do have to be careful, so you will be using that range of your guns. Maneuverability 33.5, 890 meters on the turning radius, and then rudder shift on the 7.7. So the upgrades I am running on this, I am running that, so steering gears that will affect the rudder shift time. I really enjoy this because you want to be taking as few shells as possible. We are running the aiming system mod 1 here, as well as damage control. There's nothing really else that's worth it. I didn't see like I was really losing my propulsion or steering gears. Russian line tends to be a quote-unquote glass cannon line, so really if you're taking any hits, that's bad. So I would rather just take a less HE chance, less fire chance if I can, than really losing these, because most of the time if you're going to be getting hit big enough to lose these, it's most likely a Citadel anyway, and you will potentially lose. I just didn't see us losing these that much. And then obviously the guns are the main part of this ship, so we wanted those to survive as much as possible, and of course we are running premiums, the upgraded damage control, AA, and as well as spotter plane. So let's dive into the gameplay itself, and show off how good this ship can actually do and how much of a bully this ship can be, really bringing that tier 8 ship into a tier 7 matchmaking queue. So here we are in game with the Lazo itself, and as you can see, we are on neighbors. Again, as I said before, tier 7 is a prime. I think tier 7 honestly is my favorite tier in this entire game. The reason being is the maps are so good. They're not too big, or they don't feel too big at least. There's a good rotation on the types of maps, as well as you tend to get top tiered a lot. And as you see in this game, if we can get away from the personal orders, is we are actually top tiered and a game that has tier 6 CV. So I was kind of excited to see how this ship would do against planes, and really we didn't have to deal with them too much, but we are going to knock a few out of the sky. And I really enjoy this line. I think this is a fantastic training line. People ask me, hey, what's a good way to get my aim better, or train or get better at aiming and leading ships? I think the Russian line is probably one of the best in the game because it has several things going for it. And one of the main things is, one of the things I was going for is a high rate of fire and low trajectory. So not only does it make it a fantastic training ship, training line, and then not only this being a good training premium, it makes it just a fun ship to play because it has the opportunity of doing lots of damage and doing it from afar to keep you relatively safe, especially if you aren't used to getting close and then angling or using your rudders effectively or using your speed and throttle effectively. But with this ship though, it is going to be an absolute bully, and one of the things I want to show you is the accuracy of this ship. Now they are basically all coming to our side, so we are going to then pick on them, and I'm kind of holding off with this. Now you will see it's a 4DD game, which is kind of surprising, but we are going to have to deal with a couple of those pretty quick, and I want to get those that damage on the those battleships that are pushing in. So Double New York, the Prince Otto Frederick, we have some other stuff pushing in too. I want to deal with those, but first we're going to have to deal with these DDs. And if you've ever been in a destroyer and a Russian cruiser has been close, you definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of this. Again, it is a tier 7, so it doesn't have the radar that the Chapayev would have. But again, I want you to look at a few things here, and I want you to look at some the reload on this. Not only the reload, but the accuracy. This thing shoots lasers. Absolute lasers. Now obviously there's nothing bragging rights about killing a Nicholas, but I want to show you just how good the accuracy is on this ship. And then in the end, this can basically be a freemium, as I like to call them, or a free premium you can get by just playing the game. This thing absolutely just rips. If something is going to sail in any kind of straight line, you are going to do damage to it and be very effective at it. To me, this just seems so accurate that it kind of caught me off guard. I thought maybe it was even bugged, but it's just so good. Again, any kind of broadside Leander too with AP is going to get absolutely obliterated, but this really caught me off guard by just how accurate it was. And I love accurate ships. Again, we take out the Nicholas first, and then we're going to teach the Leander to not quite sail broadside because you're going to have a problem. We got unlucky there. We hit 10 shells, by the way, on that. 10 shells, 10 of 12. And we'll finish it off right here. We just missed our double strike, but this thing is nuts. So first 2 kills, easy peasy, and then we're going to continue as we get picked on by, I believe it's a Minsk or a Leningrad, I'm not sure. Yeah, Minsk. And but still, the accuracy of this ship is something that I really love, and something that is quite an impressive part about this ship, and something I highly recommend. Tier 7 is such a good tier 2 for money, because ships tend to be, especially a cruiser like this, how money is generated is by damage done, so you are going to be doing lots of damage on average. This isn't even the best game, but I thought this is the fairest game to show how much or how strong this can kind of be. It ended up being a relatively quick game, and it was kind of funny to see our division. I think our division got every kill this game. It just ended up being relatively quick, so things kind of got out of hand. As you see, we're going to knock out a couple planes. It is tier 6. Obviously against tier 8, we won't be, knocking out as many. We can hopefully kill a few off, but again, we're not going to get clear skies or anything like this. But still, overall, things I love about this ship, it's a Russian ship, so I love the play style of these. I love a ship that rewards having good aim, and I love a ship that you can kind of play open water. And people always ask me what I mean by that. I would say an open water ship compared to, let's say, an island hugging ship. So you have USN, which tends to be a tad more island hugging. You need cover a lot more. This, you're going to tend to be a tad more in the open and doing damage from the open. And man, the destroyer is just giving me heck, I swear. But still, if there is a DD within your range, you are most likely going to hit it. And I love being rewarded with having good aim in this ship. Best part is too, now that getting back to the tier 7, tier 7s tend to be pretty cheap anyway. I always recommend people, if they're looking for a good ship to farm cash with, tier 6, tier 7 tends to be a really good one, because you can do lots of damage, which is how the more damage you do, the more credits you're going to make. And tier 7 ships tend to be pretty cheap, especially this being a premium ship. This is a fantastic way if you are in like looking for, or maybe saving up for the Nelson, which is a free XP ship, or just saving up for a premium or trying to get other premium ships. This is a fantastic one to potentially pick up, as it is basically a freemium, if you want to call that, but you just need to play a decent amount. So even if, that's one thing I want to talk about too, even if you're kind of waiting to get a few more of these containers, or you can't play, I think this ship is going to be pretty solid. It is going to be worth to pick up if you need to buy a few of those crates. Again, buying all 20 on day one, definitely I don't see the value there. It's a good ship. I enjoy this ship. You'll see how much I can bully these battleships in a short amount of time. But this is something, and I want you to watch this fire chance as well. This is something that I would highly recommend people closing the gap maybe the last couple days. Hey, I can't afford it, or I'm going on vacation for a week, or I'm going to miss part of this event. It is a relatively long event, and you will get rewarded for consistently playing and staying on the glory or the honor team and getting those points. But it's something you have to play consistently to get those points. It's not something you can kind of just log in and then get a bunch without playing. It is something that you are going to have to work for over time. So with that, I do feel like if people need to close the gap a little bit and buy a few containers, I definitely see the value in this. Now, in the end, again, it is up to you on whether how many doubloons you have laying around. I do kind of like that Wargaming is doing these quote-unquote doubloon dumps. What I mean by that is there's actually a decent amount of doubloons in the player base right now that are kind of just sitting there. A lot of people get a lot from the Christmas containers, and a lot of this have kind of been sitting there. So it is kind of nice to have something to spend these on if you have them. But throughout this Is It Worth It series, I do want to take a real look at the actual price of these ships if people are going to buy them. So even if you have some laying around, I think it's definitely worth picking up a couple of these. I would probably wait to see how much you can get for free, as you can probably get the whole ship for free if you're playing consistently, instead of just spending a bunch and then having a bunch of these currencies where you could have saved some money. So that's something to maybe wait a few weeks, maybe see what your schedule is. Can you spend a little bit more time playing the game and save yourself some money? Or if you want to pick it up just right away, again, that is your call. But the ship is fantastic. It's not like you're going to get a bad ship if you get stuff early. This thing is going to be a good one. You are going to need to like Russian cruisers, though. I think it's a pretty easy line to like, honestly. It's just really good, and you can definitely have a lot of fun in tier 7 as well. And we've been shooting a bunch of salvos, and we've gotten 5 fires that quick. We've kind of bullied this entire side. We killed all those destroyers, and then we're kind of just farming these battleships. This is how this ship fell. Every time we played this game, we end up doing a decent amount of damage. Again, this isn't even the highest damage game. I just really enjoy this game to show off the strength of this ship. Extremely accurate, killing those destroyers early as we start to kind of lose kind of everybody on our team. I remember saying during the stream, as we play all these on stream, you come check us out, hang out, twitch.tv/mejash. I felt like we were up by a lot, and then I look up and we're kind of even on ships, but we've been bullying this side so much that it didn't really matter, I guess. We're already at 70,000 damage, and again, you'll see what we are running. For just a reference of at the end screen, we are only running a detonation flag, so we aren't running any bonuses to credits, any bonuses to XP or anything like that. It's just a pure detonation flag. So that's the only thing I really run on the test ships. I don't want it to be thrown off by how much you can earn unless we're trying to show something off. But again, this is a fantastic line. Again, a fantastic premium to practice with this right here, of practicing shooting with a spotter plane. So this is something that a lot of people have trouble doing, but it's something that you should get good at. It is a skill. If you are able to hit things consistently with a spotting plane, you will just be a better player overall. I highly recommend practicing with this. And right now, as you see, our team has 7 kills, and all 7 are in our division so far. So I thought that was kind of funny as well. And our short horse end up getting that, cleaning the CV up, and we're going to continue to push forward and do as much damage as we can. But when I was playing this ship, even when I was getting bottom tiered, it felt comfortable. It felt comfortable to play this ship. You have range, you have a long attack range to stay out of danger. I mean, you are a cruiser, so you can get obviously dev struck if you're showing too much broadside. You can obviously just get absolutely wrecked, but if you play this correctly, you can be an absolute threat even if you are bottom tier. This is a strong tier 7. It is definitely strong. Basically, you are a tier 8 in a tier 7 ship. So one of the easiest, as I said earlier, I mean, look at that dispersion. It's so good. There's like none. I love it. It's so freaking good. Now, I know all the battleship captains are going to be mad about this, but it does feel good just to light a whole bunch of fires. Again, we could actually add 2% more if we were running the flags of fire chance. And as my div mates continue to steal all my kills, there's the Crackalakin for our Scharnhorst as well. And again, we just completely bullied the side. We killed a decent amount of planes when they came near us. Again, we aren't even fully spec'd out for AA, but just able to just pump in damage, supporting our DD, and just continue to just whittle battleships down like the Russian line is basically known for. And again, even at bottom tier, you are able to do a lot of damage because you have that long effective range on your striking ability. So definitely something to look at, even when taking about this. I know a lot of people always give me grief when I show videos of being top tier, like, oh, you only did well because you're top tier. I just wanted to show this video off because it shows how strong this thing can effectively be at being a nuisance in any way. But Russian cruisers tend to up tier pretty well. Main thing being is that they do have that long range, they do have that high fire chance, and they do have a lot of a low trajectory, which makes it pretty freaking easy to do that damage. So definitely something I recommend as a ship, even if this was a ship that was purchased in the premium store. Again, right now it is the Trololol Eventium currency, so it is only available currently through the event. So depending on when you're watching this, it may be available in the premium store. But as a tier 7 premium ship itself, I think this thing is quite good. If it was, I would recommend it then. And I mean, look at that. How can you not like that? How can you not? Of course, it's all overpens. 10 overpens on a broadside Atlanta, by the way. But yes, this is a ship that is fantastic, and it's a ship you can get for free by just playing the game. So throughout the Russian Battleship event, it is something you can get for free the more you play. However, you do need to consistently play this play the event to then get it. So is it worth it, in my opinion, to grab a couple if you are short? I guess that's the biggest question. If you are short of those allowance tokens, is it worth spending some money on some crates to get it? 100%. Now, the main question is, one, do you enjoy cruiser play? If you don't, then obviously it's not going to be for you. Two, do you enjoy Russian cruiser play? If not, obviously it's not going to be for you. But if you do like those and you are looking for a good tier 7 ship to get relatively cheap, quote unquote, because you can get a lot of the price tag done for free, I highly recommend this ship. And if you do want to pick it up early, you definitely can. It is going to require a decent amount of doubloons to get those crates first. So right now it's only available through the allowance tokens, 1,500 of them. Again, you can get that for free. It just will take a lot of consistent play, and then of course you can then get the ship for free, but it will take multiple, about a month and a half probably of good consistent play. It might even take less than that, honestly, but it will take basically logging in and playing games every day. A lot of people can't do that. So I know a lot of people are going to get relatively close and then have to fill the rest with those. So definitely do recommend this ship if you need to spend a couple dollars on some doubloons, or have some doubloons laying around that you got from Christmas containers or whatever. Again, if you already have the Lazo and you do purchase it, this came up to, I had gotten it from the Wargaming for being a CC, and then I bought the containers anyway and then spent it. I wanted to see how many you would get back. If you somehow bought the Lazo early or whatever, you do get 8,000 back. So it was, if anything happens like that, you can maybe get some doubloons back if you want to. But overall, the ship was a lot of fun, a very, very strong tier 7 cruiser, and something that if you enjoy this kind of open water long range playstyle, you will love this ship. But anyways, guys, that's it for me for the tier 7 Russian premium cruiser, the Lazo, and is it worth it? Hope this video helps you out. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.